The political moment last week where an MOU was signed and handshakes exchanged has been framed as one that is to bring unity in the country and ensure development for all. Nobody can fault unity, they said. The nation is bigger than party interests. No part of Kenya will be left behind. We want to remain in government. All very important statements and pledges to the country. Yet this is a question we have grappled with since independence. How do we make everyone feel a part of the whole? Unity that ensures that everyone has equal access to opportunities. Well, Kenya faced its greatest test of unity. The post-election crisis of 2007-2008 that brought this country face to face with what unity, or shall we say disunity, could really mean. And from that very real crisis, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 was born. Not just any law, but the supreme law of the land. Unity was clearly spelled out in Article 10 of the National Values and Principles of Governance. The Constitution then goes on to clearly spell how this would be implemented. The concept of devolution in Article 174 and Chapter 11, aimed at stopping the endless delegations from all corners of the country to State House to essentially kiss the ring and pay homage to the centre in order to get a road, a dispensary built in their far-flung part of the country, or maybe even get a new food-making machine. It gets very specific on how to achieve this. Division and allocation of resources based on a formula designed to ensure equity so as to foster unity. Then we also have an equalization fund to progressively bring the most marginalized parts of the country up to par with the rest so as to enhance unity. Additionally, there is the NGCDF to ensure that all constituencies in Kenya are developed irrespective of the political affiliation of their member of parliament. This was to cure the Maisha Mbaya, Siasa Mbaya mantra, so that areas in the proverbial opposition are just as developed as those with representatives in, say, Kikuyu. There is the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, a tool to empower vulnerable communities through county-based programs championed by women representatives. Then the Constitution also considers unity in its totality to ensure equity beyond geographical boundaries. So women, youth, persons with disability. This resulted in funds like Women's Fund, Youth Fund, and AGPO, or the access to government procurement opportunities to enable the youth and women thrive in their businesses. All of this to bring the marginalized into the fold and hence foster unity and inclusivity. Now, with all of this, I then find it quite problematic when we have a political moment framed as fostering unity. Now, some of the main items of the 10-point MOU signed last week are fostering unity, ensuring inclusivity in all spheres of public life, protecting and strengthening devolution, promoting and protecting the livelihoods of young people. All of these issues that have been clearly espoused by our Constitution and enacted by legislation. So what will this MOU do that the Constitution has been unable to do? That Constitution, by the way, which grants powers and resources to the head of government to do all of that that is already in this MOU, that same Constitution also outlines the role of the minority in that duty. Unless they're saying that the Constitution has failed in this role, in which case that is a totally different conversation. Folks, I, for one, am not persuaded that an amorphous political pact between two individuals can solve the country's problems better than the Constitution can. If parliamentarians, and that's the majority and the minority, the leader of government, and the highest decision-making organ, that is the cabinet, have all failed to implement the Constitution, then maybe the problem is not with the Constitution. That is my take tonight.